It is National Signing Day, and one thing we wanted to do is there's going to be a lot of talk about who had the best class and all that fun stuff. We'll get to all that. We've got time to break that down. But for now, we look over the 12. You can check out the classes at texasfootball.com/signing day for all 12 FBS teams in the state of Texas. We've got the whole list, all the signings. And I've gone through and I've picked one guy in each class that I think fans can get excited about right now. And it might not be the quarterback.
Okay.
It might not be the wide receiver. But it's a guy who I think has a future of being very big for that program.
Okay.
We'll roll through the 12 FBS programs.
All
right?
You're calling these guys your gems.
My gems. My gems of the class. Okay. We'll go alphabetically.
Okay.
Because that's just easier for me.
Sure.
Because I will forget somebody if I don't go alphabetically.
Sure.
Start with Baylor.
Okay.
Baylor, you got a couple different options you can go here. You can go with Parrish Cobb, the cornerback out of Waco, Vega, who we really liked when we saw at the state title game.
Do everything and do it well.
But for now, I'm going to go with an offensive lineman. I'm going to go with Patrick Hudson, the Silsbee tackle. He's a big get, I think one of the best prospects in this class. A super teamer in Dave Campbell's Texas football, a huge kid who's got great mobility, and I think for a program that turned Spencer Drango into a star, they can do the same with Patrick Hudson out of Silsbee. I think for Baylor, Patrick Hudson is a home run for them. We moved down to Houston, okay, and we're going to be talking to one of the great stars of this Houston class, this very good Houston class. But I think there is only one guy you can mention here, right? It's got to be spring Westfield defensive lineman Ed Oliver. It's the first time that a consensus 5-star prospect has gone to a group of 5 program. This is historic, what Tom Herman is doing. And Ed Oliver is awesome. Awesome. I think that he is. If you want to make an argument that he's the best defender in the state, I think that's a real argument. I think that he is a superstar in the making. If you go read the quotes that from other coaches that Bruce Feldman was tweeting,
these were good.
Basically along the lines of, he would have been a stud in the SEC. In the American Athletic Conference, he can be undoubtedly the best player in the conference.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun, great pickup for Houston. North Texas. Obviously, Seth Luttrell comes in, has to build the kind of on the fly, put together a recruiting class. I think it's a good recruiting class. I think considering
all things considered,
exactly. It's not bad. No. I really like Fort Worth Arlington Heights wide receiver Deion Griffin, a guy who played a little bit of quarterback there at Arlington Heights, has now become, I think, has a future as a real breakout star in the Seth Luttrell offense. I think that Deion Griffin for North Texas, great pickup for the Mean Green. For Rice, one of my favorite players.
It'd been the upset of the century if you hadn't picked this guy.
If I hadn't picked Will Phillips.
It'd been an upset of the century.
The Franklin linebacker is one of my favorite players in the entire state. He is just a workhorse and a guy who played running back and linebacker for them. Just a stud. Go watch his video. It's up on texasfootball.com/signing day. Go watch Will Phillips' video. It's outrageous. He is a fantastic player. And if he were, I firmly believe that if he played above the 3A level, we would be talking about him as an elite prospect. I really
probably
think,
makes sense.
I think that he is hurt by the fact that he just played at a smaller rank. But at Rice, I think he could be a superstar.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
SMU, we're going to be talking to Chad Morris in a little bit, in about 10 minutes. And one of the guys that I'm going to ask him about is Waco La Vega wide receiver Brandon Benson. You know, we saw him at the state title game really put on a show. A physical wide receiver, the kind of guy that you can play anywhere in the slot, out wide, an H-back position. I think Brandon Benson is super versatile, and that versatility is going to lend itself very well to getting on the field early and doing things, doing special things for the Ponies.
He was so impressive in that title game.
He was really good. Really, really good. TCU. Sticking with Houston area and sticking with guys that we saw at the title game, I think Darius Anderson. They flip him from Missouri.
Yeah.
And when we saw him,
I'm sorry, by the way.
When we saw him at the title game, first of all, that George Ranch team was absurdly fast, and Darius Anderson was the one who stood out above them all as the fastest,
right?
Which is certainly saying something. Very, very, very impressive. I think Darius Anderson has a great future in this TCU offense. I think that's a great pickup. Texas. A lot of places you can go with, almost all of them coming today. It's been
especially with the way they're closing right now.
It's been a big, excellent day for Texas.
The Horns.
And I think it all starts, the big catch in all of them is Nacogdoches safety Brandon Jones, considered the best uncommitted prospect in Texas heading into signing day. I thought that he was fantastic. A very, very good, and I think that he's, you look at all the defenders that are going to Texas these days, and all the defenders that are coming in, especially here on National Signing Day and this big push.
Right.
Brandon Jones is a superstar in the making, and I think that anybody who's watched him and anybody who's covered him can see that. Yeah. I think Brandon Jones has a future as an excellent Texas Longhorn. Texas A&M. I know Aggies are a little bit disappointed. It's been a good signing day. It hasn't been a great one. I think compared to the past couple of classes for Kevin Sumlin, this is a bit of a measured step back. But, and I've mentioned his name here before, Justin Madubulke, the defensive end from McKinney North, is a game changer.
You like him a lot.
I like him a lot. Justin Madubulke is a ferocious, hellacious pass rusher. He is just as sensational a defensive end as you're going to find out there. And at Texas A&M, under John Chavis, with those guys, with the history of defenders, defensive linemen that they've put out in recent years, I think Justin Madubulke has a chance to be the next big thing at Texas A&M. Texas State. So the Bobcats' class is good. There's a lot of JUCO guys, obviously filling in gaps, and Everett Withers is kind of in the same situation that Seth Luttrell is in. Obviously, coming in, taking over a program that he has to put together his signing class on the fly. I think that one of the guys he was able to hold on to, and I think is a real sleeper in this whole class, is Marquis Bates, the wide receiver out of Edna. He is huge. I want to get this right. Let me look at this. But he is a huge wide receiver. You're listening to live coverage of me Googling Marquis Bates. Marquis Bates, 6'5". I was going to say, I thought he was 6'6". He's 6'5",
still
205.
That's pretty big.
A monster out there. And when you talk about wanting a number one receiver, Marquis Bates can be that guy. Yeah. And I think in a lot of the same ways as with Will Phillips, if he had been playing at a school at a higher classification than Edna, I think that we would be talking about him as a top-tier recruit. I think that he is a steal for Texas State, and I think Marquis Bates has an opportunity to be a number one receiver for Texas State in the very near-term future. Texas Tech. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to go with Jett Duffey. The Mansfield Lake Ridge quarterback on the cover of our magazine, Texas Football or Dave Campbell Presents Texas Football Rising. It's our recruiting guide, so go ahead and pick that up. It's got 2017, 2018, 2019 recruits, plus all your 2016 recruits. Yeah. Jett Duffey, Mr. Texas football, as dynamic a quarterback in the state as we've seen this year. I think we
love him. We've said plenty about
Jett Duffey. Sorry, Jett. We've given you.
You've had your time.
UTEP. I tweeted this. UTEP has got to stop recruiting my man crush running backs, okay? A few years ago, it was Aaron Jones, who has now turned into the heartbeat of that offense, and now they pick up Kennedale running back Quadralz Wadley. And go look at his numbers. The numbers speak for themselves. He is a workhorse. And now he's going to UTEP in a run-first offense. I think he's going to dazzle. I think that this is a big pickup for UTEP. I think Q Wadley has a chance to be a big-time star. And then UTSA. So UTSA kind of in that same situation with a new coach in Frank Wilson. They've got to kind of put together a class kind of on the fly. But I think that they were able to hold on to defensive end Jarrod McLin out of Carthage. And this is a big-time prospect, a guy who has had a lot of offers, a lot of attention out in East Texas coming from another kind of factory, another kind of prospect factory out there in East Texas in Carthage. And he is going to come in and be very polished, ready to go on day one. I think that Jarrod McLin is a steal for UTSA. And so, overall, we've got all the signing classes up at texasfootball.com/signing day. You can check them all out. Who are your gems in these classes? Let us know. #DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation.